But I get so wound up as I look at all these commentators, all these politicians putting out there, oh, we stand with the Jewish community. You don't. No, you don't. Not at all. You are the reason this is happening. All of you.
Tommy Robinson's interview leaves Keir Starmer supporters speechless. What he just said shook the room. You're not going to believe what just happened. During what was supposed to be a calm, straightforward interview, Tommy Robinson dropped a statement that instantly turned the conversation on its head, and yes, it was about Keir Starmer. No shouting. No drama. Just a few carefully chosen words that left everyone watching in total silence. Now, this wasn't your usual fiery TV clash, it was a sit-down conversation on an independent podcast. The interviewer asked what seemed like a simple question. What do you honestly think of Keir Starmer's leadership? And that's when Tommy paused, looked directly into the camera, and said something that no one, not even his critics, expected. Robinson started slowly, almost calmly. He said, "Look, I may not agree with Keir Starmer on a single thing politically, but I'll tell you this, the man represents exactly what's wrong with modern politics." That line hit hard. The host leaned forward. The audience chat lit up instantly. Robinson went on. People like Starmer talk about fairness, transparency, unity, but when it comes to ordinary people, the ones who feel unheard, he doesn't even look our way. You could feel the tone shift. It wasn't just criticism, it was disappointment. And that made it even more powerful. He continued, "The problem is, everything he says feels like it came from a focus group. Britain's losing touch with real talk, with honesty." For a moment, the interviewer didn't say a word. It was one of those rare times where the guest didn't need to raise their voice to make an impact. And the reaction online? Explosive. Clips of the interview started spreading within hours. Some viewers praised Tommy for finally saying what people think but are too afraid to say. Others accused him of twisting the narrative for attention. But here's the truth: whether you love him or hate him, Tommy Robinson knows how to spark a conversation that politicians can't ignore. A political analyst on GB News summed it up perfectly. When someone like Robinson speaks about politicians, it's not the policy that matters, it's the pulse. He reflects the frustration of people who feel the establishment doesn't listen anymore. And that's exactly what this interview revealed: not a personal attack, but a deep national mood. Let's be real, Keir Starmer has built his image on discipline, professionalism, and staying above controversy. But that same image has created a wall between him and everyday voters. Tommy touched on that when he said, "You can't lead a country you're afraid to stand in the middle of. You can't talk about unity when you won't even talk to the people who disagree with you." That one line has been quoted everywhere. It's been clipped, remixed, shared thousands of times. And it's not just about Starmer anymore, it's about a system that feels closed off, where the people who ask the hardest questions get pushed to the margins. Now, let's put this in perspective. Keir Starmer, as the leader of the Labour Party, has been positioning himself as the calm alternative, the adult in the room after years of political chaos. His strategy has been to project authority, control, and a sense of safety. But here's the irony in doing that: he's also made himself appear untouchable. And in today's Britain, where people are struggling with cost-of-living pressures, culture clashes, and growing mistrust in politics, that safe distance doesn't feel safe anymore. That's what Tommy Robinson hit on, not with anger, but with precision. One commentator on social media put it best: "You don't have to agree with Tommy Robinson to admit he's right about one thing: politicians have stopped listening." Now, of course, not everyone saw it that way. Labour supporters rushed to defend Starmer, calling the remarks unfair and divisive. One MP tweeted, "This is the same old tactic: stir outrage, then pretend it's about free speech. Starmer's leadership speaks for itself." But others within the party quietly admitted that Robinson's words might reflect a growing sentiment among working-class voters who feel politically abandoned. A source close to Labour's campaign team told The Telegraph, "Starmer doesn't like unpredictability. But politics isn't predictable anymore, and that's our biggest weakness." By the next day, the clip had been viewed over 2 million times. Headline after headline read, "Robinson's interview puts Starmer on the spot. Unexpected remarks ignite debate on political authenticity." Even international outlets began covering it, framing it as another sign of Britain's uneasy political divide. And yet, amid all the noise, The most striking thing was the tone. This wasn't an attack. It was almost reflective. Tommy Robinson wasn't shouting from the streets this time, he was speaking from a chair, calmly, like someone trying to explain why the public's patience is wearing thin. And that's where the real story lies. Because whether you agree with him or not, his words struck a chord. They exposed something deeper than just political rivalry, they exposed a fatigue with politics that feels scripted, rehearsed, disconnected. As the interviewer wrapped up, he asked, "Do you think you'd ever sit down with Starmer face to face?" Tommy smiled slightly and said, "I'd love to. But I doubt he would." And that closing line, well, it said everything. So here's the takeaway. When one controversial voice in Britain can spark a nationwide debate just by talking calmly about a politician, that tells you people are desperate for real conversation again. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's about truth, honesty, and courage, qualities that, right now, feel rare in politics. And maybe, just maybe, that's why this interview resonated so deeply. Because when the microphones are off, and the cameras stop rolling, the question still hangs in the air. If leaders can't face the toughest voices in the country, how can they ever claim to represent it?